This is the video that I wish I had before I started my apartment hunt in Paris. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Tiff. I'm an American living in Paris, and my channel is dedicated to sharing all about my life abroad and the lessons learned during my time here. Let me tell you, the apartment hunting process in Paris has been one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to encounter. And I've lived in San Francisco, I lived in New York, but this has by far been the most intense experience I've had. So in this video, I'll be first breaking down some of the tips to finding an apartment in Paris, and then I'll be showing you guys 5 of the different apartments that I viewed when I was on the apartment hunt. So if you're currently looking for an apartment in Paris, if you're looking to move to Paris, or just genuinely interested about what you can get for your money in Paris when it comes to housing, this video is for you. All right, so a few tips for finding an apartment in Paris. So number 1, the best apartment hunting websites to find an apartment in Paris. Number 1 for me is parisian. I'm telling you guys, this is the holy grail of apartment hunting websites in Paris. And it's actually how I found my current apartment that I live in now. What I love about this website is that it literally pulls from every single apartment hunting website in Paris and will send you alerts daily if an apartment that matches your criteria has been posted online. And it was super helpful for me, to just look in my inbox every day to see, what apartments were posting versus having to look on so many different websites daily. So this was a huge help for me and how I found my apartment that I live in now. And another website to check out is Le Bon Coin. And I really love this website too because, landlords will post on there, agencies will post on there, and also, people who are looking for roommates will post their apartments on there as well. So if there's a vacancy in a 4-bedroom apartment or something like that, it'll be posted on this website too. Number 3 is Book a Flat. So Book a Flat is actually an agency that I found works very well with English-speaking expats. More often than not, every agent that I was paired with did speak English, which was perfect for me. The agents were really easy to work with. They were super helpful in explaining the process as well. And a lot of the apartments on this website were quality apartments in nice areas. Some are a bit more expensive than what you might find on parisian or Le Bon Coin, but again, a smooth experience with Book a Flat, and I would highly recommend to an expat who's looking for an apartment in Paris. Then tip number 2, if you want something decent, do not rush into this process. Give yourself at least 3 to 4 months to secure something good. When I found myself in this process, I had started looking around October, November, and only found an apartment February of the next year. So definitely give yourself time. It is a process out here. It's very competitive when it comes to the apartment search, so give yourself time. Tip number 3, bring your rental file with you to the apartment visit. As I said, it is extremely competitive to find an apartment in Paris, and the ideal candidate has a CDI, which is a permanent work contract in Paris, is making at least 3 times the rent, and if not, has a French guarantor. If you don't have this ideal candidate profile, don't worry. Doesn't mean that you are not going to find an apartment. There are a lot of tools now that you can use. For example, there is a website called guarantme.com where you can sign up and be paired with a French guarantor if you don't have one. So definitely look into that if you don't have a French guarantor. And I do know that there are some agents and landlords that are a bit more laid back and will take guarantors that are outside of the country. So it's just about, finding the right agent, the right landlord, and kind of just asking what those possibilities are. I think tip number 4, which is kind of more of just a nice to know, is that in Paris, you can rent both furnished and unfurnished apartments. So all the apartments that I visited and the apartment that I landed were completely furnished. So I didn't have to worry about, finding a couch, finding a TV, finding a bookcase and everything like that. My apartment was fully furnished, and there are a ton of apartments in Paris that are furnished, which is awesome if you are looking to stay here for a short amount of time or, just don't want to have to deal with the hassle of, having to furnish your own space. All right, so that wraps up a few of my tips to finding an apartment in Paris. Of course, if you have any questions, please reach out or leave me a comment below. I'm more than happy to help. I've been here before and I know that the struggle is real. So now, moving on to a quick tour of 5 of the apartments that I visited while I was on my apartment hunt. And most of of these places range between 900 euros a month to around 1,300 euros a month. That was just the price range that I was looking in. Okay, so this first apartment I found was in the 11th arrondissement, so very close to République, which is a really cool area of Paris. Shopping, great restaurants. I love a good brunch near République. It's just a really fun area to be in. So this apartment I found on L'Orgille. It was 900 euros a month, around 25 square meters. So it's a tiny little place, but was very cute. I got there and I think 20 people were waiting in line to see the apartment. Only 2 people could fit in there at a time, so we were waiting for quite a while. I also really like the surrounding area, you know, again, really close to République, walking distance from Comptoir Général, which is one of my favorite lounges in Paris. Also walking distance to a lot of great brunch spots as well. So really great location, tiny space, but that's kind of typically what you find for 900 euros in Paris. The second apartment that I found was in the 10th arrondissement, and I found this one through Craigslist. And where it was situated in the 10th, it was very close to Chateau d'Eau, which is really not my favorite area of Paris. It is home to all of the black hair care products, so I am there once a month. But I just feel like the people there, especially the men, are a bit aggressive, you know, really trying to get you to go into the shops and get your hair done. And one guy even poked me one time, and I'm just kind of like, this is entirely too much. So I wasn't too sure about living in this area, but did go to see the place. So the rent was 1,000 euros a month, I think around 25 square meters as well. A very small space, so pretty much a studio apartment. The one thing I did not love about the space though is that you kind of had to walk up these stairs without a handrail to get to where the bed was. And the bed was in a very, very tiny space. I am super claustrophobic, so I'm not sure if I could wake up in that space every day. But it was a cute little place, you know, 1,000 euros a month, but again, not in the best area. So this next apartment was in the 17th arrondissement, and I'm pretty sure I found this space on Le Bon Coin. I really loved this area, you know, super cosmopolitan, great shopping around. For this apartment, they were asking for 1,200 euros a month, and also said that if I didn't have a French guarantor, would I be willing to pay like 6 months in advance? So some landlords or agents will ask you that, you know, if you don't have a French guarantor. So just as an FYI. I thought the space was a little too small for 1,200 euros a month. It was a studio apartment. The kitchen was a great size, but the living area was a little small. Just a couch in the living room that pulled out into a pull-out bed. So very cute area. I think it was a cute little space, but decided to keep looking. So this next apartment that I found was in the 18th arrondissement, and it was a very cute space. You know, they were asking for 1,300 euros a month, which I thought was a bit too high for the space. So here, as you can see, it is also a studio apartment. I love that it was just a big open space. I love the aesthetic of the apartment. You know, it really looked like something I would love to come home to. I did not love that it didn't have a proper bed. So there was a little couch on the side that pulled out into a bed. The bathroom was also very, very small. But again, a beautiful, gorgeous space that I found through Book a Flat. And another thing to keep in mind and that I noticed is that just outside of the apartment, there was a huge staircase. And if you were going down the staircase, you could see directly into the apartment. I did want something a little bit more private, so decided to pass on that one. So the next place I have to show you is in the 9th arrondissement, and I also found this space on Book a Flat. And when I tell you guys, I was so obsessed with this area, like walking distance from my absolute favorite brunch spot in Paris. I actually really liked this apartment. It was a really nice space, and they were asking for 1,350 euros a month. I love that there was at least a separator dividing the living space from the bed. Really, really love this space. Really, really love this area. The price was a bit outside of my budget, but again, a beautiful space. I did put in my application, unfortunately did not get selected for this one, which was a bummer, but all is good. I ended up exactly where I needed to be. So in case you missed the video where I gave a tour of the apartment that I currently live in, you know, I did find a space in the 18th paying 1,100 euros a month. I absolutely love this space. It's a full 1-bedroom, the living room, kitchen, bathroom, everything. And I think I definitely landed the right space for me. And those are just a few of the other apartments that I looked at while I was on my hunt. The apartment hunt is not easy, but again, I'm here to help and answer any questions that you have. So just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of the apartment hunting process in Paris, show you some of the apartments that I viewed while I was looking for you guys to get a better sense of, how much you're paying for apartments in Paris. The apartment hunting process in Paris is a lot. The struggle is real. I've been there before. But again, happy to answer any questions that you have and provide insight that will hopefully make your apartment hunt journey a lot easier than what mine was. So that's it from me, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you next week.